Well, good evening, race fans. Welcome back once again to Simple Racing Broadcast. We find ourselves ready to go for round 2 of the Alliance Sim Racing Gard Supercar Championship. And with one round down and 9 still to come, including this evening, we've got a bit of a first look at how this championship is going to shape up, with opening night last week giving us our first taste of who's arrived ready for this season and who's still maybe finding their feet a little bit. But of course, plenty of racing still to come. The early momentum is important, but there's still a lot of opportunities for points ahead. Tonight, we find ourselves running the Cup layout here at Watkins Glen, which is incredibly short, incredibly fast, very, very flowing circuit, and it will be interesting to see who makes the most of the virtually unlimited track extensions that are available. There are really no track limits when it comes to a NASCAR Cup layout of most of these tracks. So it will be interesting to see who makes the most of that tonight. This season, of course, of the Alliance Sim Racing Supercar Championship, proudly supported by Gard as the primary sponsor, and it's great to have them back on board again for the season. My name is Jared Cole. Alongside me in the booth this evening is Isaac Fogarty. And Isaac, round 2, this one will be an important one for the drivers to start to find their feet in the championship.
Could not agree more. Good evening, Jared. Good evening, everybody at home. This, as you said, is a very important round. We saw last week, we've got a little bit of a form guide on what we can expect heading into this season 7 and what lays ahead for us. Obviously, Wayne Walker picking up sort of where he left off, but not without his challenges. So tonight is another night, another opportunity for Wayne Walker to maybe try and cement his place at the top. He's got the number 1 on the door. He's had it for the last 2 seasons. You won't want to give it up anytime soon, but there's certainly a lot of names that are floating around the top. Jason Bentz, Matt Vanderkrant, Dean Logsdale, a couple of those to keep an eye as well for Blake Warboys, Mark Poynton. They've been really quick last week as well. So there's a couple names floating around that top. Who will we see come out on top tonight? As you mentioned, very short layout here, and from what I understand, Jared Cole, very forgiving on the track limits. So we could see a nice interpretation of those track limits tonight with this Cup layout.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, tonight is a bit of a sprint feature. Tonight, 3 races, all 18 laps. So it's going to be a very, very short, sharp, and pretty hectic racing, I am expecting. The interesting thing for the drivers to keep track of, for the rules this evening, 2 compulsory pit stops to be taken at some point across this event. So not necessarily in race 1 or 2 or 3, but 2 stops must be made. A max of 1 of those per race. So effectively, these drivers are going to have to decide which race is going to be their all-out sprint. Will it be race 1? Will it be race 2? Will it be race 3? And how they're going to respond to the on-track action in making that decision. They have to take at least 2 tyres during those stops as well. And the other thing to keep an eye on, of course, a bit of a change this evening, just to throw a little bit more into the mix. And if we do see the Chubby Buns safety car out there on track this evening, there will be no waiver rounds. So that may play into some of the decisions that the drivers do make this evening. We'll take a quick look at the championship standings after 1 round, and this is how it looks at the top of the table. Wayne Walker, as you said, off to a blinding start, but Jason Bentz and Blake Warboys right there behind him. Troy Stonestreet only 1 point outside the top 3, and Brian Borg only another point back. Mark Poynton only another point back. So really that top 6 battle, a very, very close one, and plenty of drivers still in with a shot. Ryan Palmer finds himself tied for 8th position with Andrew Rushworth, and Jamie Dyke rounds out the top 10. 1 round, really not a lot in it. Ryan, in fact, just checking in the chat and mentioning that the times that these guys are running pretty quick, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers here on the screen at the moment, and he's not wrong. They are absolutely flying around this track at the moment. They are using those track limits, and all of them that are available to them. So they are pushing hard at the moment. But yeah, as you said, that championship, it's super close at the top, and hopefully that's what we're going to see it stay as we get deeper and deeper into this championship calendar. But yeah, looking at last week, it looked like there was some pretty tight times. Looking at the leaderboard at the moment, 1 minute 10.5 for Wayne Walker, plays 1 minute 10.6 for Dean Logsdale. Those are your top 2. And Ryan Palmer, the man who's saying these guys are quick, has done a 1 minute 11.1, so he's about 6 tenths back from these top guys, and he's in 16th place. So that's still a pretty tight spread, which tells me, Jared Cole, that we're going to see some pretty close racing tonight because these guys are all pretty much on top of each other.
Now, you want to talk about tight spread? It's within 1 second through the top 29. That is just insane. It's going to be a very, very tight race, and it really does tell you just how much danger the drivers will be in if they do find themselves, running off track or just having a bit of an error and needing to get spun around. They stand to lose a lot of positions, so they'll have to be really on their toes this evening as we do make our way through all of this for tonight's event. The qualifying session, of course, out there at the moment. 2 lone qualifying laps just getting wrapped up, and we will be ready to take you through the grid in about a minute's time. Isaac, I think really this race will show us who can adapt on the fly more than anything else. It's going to be a real decision-making exercise when it comes to these compulsory pit stops. You might come in with a plan here to get them over in the first 2 races and allow yourself a sprint in the final 18 lapper, but I mean, you can't plan that out in this sort of environment when you've got no wave rounds, when you've really got to respond to how the rest of the race is unfolding. Some of these drivers are going to have to turn their strategy upside down.
Absolutely. I think there's one thing to come into this race with a preconceived idea of what your strategy is going to be. That will completely change once we get to turn 1 at the start of race 1. I think there'll be, if you get caught up in contact in this first race, there's no way you want to go a lap down, because if there's a safety car, that pretty much is going to stunt the entire race for you if you go a lap down on that pit stop. So you'll want to stay out where possible and make sure that you don't fall behind if we take a safety car, because as I said, there's no wave around in this race if we do see a Chubby Buns safety car. So that's something they've got to think about. I think everyone, as I said earlier, will have a strategy. That's definitely going out the window by the time we get to turn 1 at the start of this first race. So I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen tonight. Where is the best time to take your pit stop? As you said, probably the first 2 races is the best time to do it, but I'd be willing to bet that quite a lot of drivers are going to still have 1 compulsory stop left to serve once we get to race 3 this evening.
Yeah, look, the really fun thing that I'm going to keep an eye on, I've just been given a bit of a heads up in the background here from none other than Jamie Dyke, just confirming that he has done absolutely 0 practice laps and has not qualified at all. He is just throwing caution to the wind tonight and looking to see what he can make of it from that sort of position. So I guess we'll find out shortly. Let's take a look at the grid for race 1 this evening, and it looks a little bit like this. Wayne Walker and Dean Logsdale will share the front row with Matt Vanderkraan and Brian Bullock on row 2. Blake Warboys and Jason Bentz row 3, then Stone Street and Ladder on row 4. Andrew Rushworth and Jason Douglas rounding out the top 10 with only 4.5 tenths separating the entire top 10. We go further back. Craig Schultz, Jim Caperonis, with Mark Point and Phil Manuel behind them. Then Gary Osh and Palmer ahead of Haynes and Wood. Luke Orman and Lorne McKee rounding out your top 20. Mitch Wood setting the second fastest time in the Cup Trophy. I almost went straight past Nick Garriosh. I'm sorry, Nick, but sitting in 15th, he is the fastest qualifying of the Cup Trophy competitors as well. Behind them, Listener and Clifton, just outside that on row 11. Then Dodell and Fisher, Vigar and Varga alongside each other in 25th and 26th. So hopefully they can get themselves separated for our sake more than anything else. Then Verban and Vigar with Todd Martin and Ernie Toth behind them. Brad Hayes and Andrew Hoffman ahead of Boyce and Grant. Then Scott Perrins and Mick Power with Troy Sipple and Ash Hall behind them. Trav Daly and David Logsdale rounding out the 40. Darren Walden and Craig Rose behind them. Then Mick Rudd, Jamie Dyke, Jamie McKnight towards the back there with Jason Dunn and Vince Salvatore, Tim Nicol and Tim Lawson in race control. It is going to be an absolutely packed grid this evening.
It's a big grid.
I don't even know what to expect here. Let's go down to the track as the drivers get themselves lined up and get ready to go racing here. It's a huge grid. This is almost a NASCAR style grid, isn't it? We've got, I lost count there, but I think we are sitting at 47 cars that are on track and ready to go this evening. Will we see 47 finish race 1? I don't know what to expect here.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, my numbers are saying 47 as well. It says Vince Salvatore's in 49th place, but I think that's due to how it was positioned with our race control setup on the grid earlier. I think they were somehow they managed to out qualify a couple of drivers without even setting a lap there, which is very impressive from our race control team. But no, look, it's going to be interesting, especially if we have an incident towards the front of the field. There's so many drivers behind. I have seen here in the past, I think you've probably seen as well, a couple incidents off the start line at Watkins Glen. So there's no stranger to some big moments at this circuit, especially off the start if someone stalls or bogs down. So that's keep a very close eye on that towards the front of the field. That'll have a massive flow-on effect. We could have a safety car before we even get to turn one. You never know, but this is something, yeah, we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. There's going to be a lot for us to keep up tonight with Jared Cole. I don't know how we're going to keep track of 47 cars in the field and keep on top of every battle. There's definitely going to be some things we'll have to, unfortunately, miss, I think.
We'll absolutely have to figure it out. Josh Harris just giving me a poke in the ribs for running out of time to run his Solar Guard hot lap before the race session gets underway tonight. Don't you worry, Josh. We'll make sure we do check that out in the break between race 2 and 3, but we're going to throw
ourselves... It's a long night, Josh.
Yeah, long night. Plenty of time for it. I know it's a little unusual. We're not showing it first up, but you'll have your 15 seconds of fame, my friend. Don't you worry about it. We'll make sure we get you your time. You could have been racing in this series too, that was an option, I'm sure. Anyway, just waiting the last of the cars at the back of this very, very long grid. Green flag gets waved at the back of the field, and we are just about ready to go racing as the lights come up. Look for Walker and Logsdale off the line as we get underway for race number 1 here this evening. And Wayne Walker leads us on down to turn 1 for the very first time. Have a look at these supercars thunder down the main straight here at Watkins Glen, and into turn 1 we go. And this one will be very, very interesting. They'll be thankful for the cup layout here where they can use the entire width, and certainly some of the drivers taking full advantage of that already. Josh Harris just saying, do we turn left or do we turn right? No one knows, mate. I always make it up on the fly and it seems to work out okay. Wayne Walker doing very, very well out in front as we come down to the back half of this cup layout. It's very, very fast to get through here, and we see these guys thundering down the straight towards the chicane. Coming through, we look to be in pretty good shape, I'll be honest, although there's already a frog leap car. Nick Garrios just finding himself off the inside of the track there, just a little bouncing over those newly redefined curbs through the chicane. But we've managed to make it more or less through there, although Garrios picking up a slowdown. How he's managed to find an off track here at the cup layout, I'm not exactly sure, but at least we know it's possible. He's fighting to get into this racing line. There's no room to move. You can see most of the drivers have sorted themselves out here, but as we come back around to finish lap 1, I tell you what, there is not a lot in this race at all as we see Ryan Palmer going side by side with Phil Manuel. We've got someone into the wall back there. That looks like that might have been Damon Fisher, who has gone sliding off the inside. Look at how wide these guys are running on the second run at full pace. Everyone using the absolute extent of the track limits that they can find here as Matt Vanderkran charges past Brian Borg. Not much in it. Look behind him because here comes Stone Street as well. A little bit of a nudge from Ken Latta already. This is firing up and we're only into lap 2.
Gloves off here, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant action. They got through that first lap relatively unscathed. Has a little bit of a look up the inside, the car in the background. The blue Ford Mustang getting very aggressive into
Jason
the bus stop chicane. Jason Bentz. Well, that's certainly no surprise. Jason Bentz, he's a very seasoned operator and does like to get the elbows out. So not shocked that there is a little bit of push and shove going on from him. He will want to move up this field. Absolutely. He is hopefully one of the key contenders for the championship this season, and all the way back down there in 7th place. Not a massive loss, but you will want to be further up to the pointy end if you're fighting for a championship. But it is Wayne Walker, as you said, that leads the way from Dean Logsdale. Nice to see pretty much every single car get through this unscathed. I think it was only Damon Fisher that had that moment into the wall, and he's down 21 spots. Jason Dunn up 12 spots off the start here. Jamie Dyke seems to be having a little bit of a difficult time. We've got a couple cars in the lane already serving pit stops. Andrew Hoffman, Troy Sipple and Travis Daly. That may be for damage, but I also believe that could be to get their compulsory stop, well, one of their compulsory stops out of the way. early. The question that we've been asking Jared Cole, what do these front guys do about their compulsory stop? Do they serve one in this race, get it out of the way, or do they try and maintain track position and hope that everyone else around them decides to follow a similar strategy and pray for track position? We've got a car off in the background.
Todd Martin taking a very interesting line through the chicane there. But that's the thing, right? You can get squeezed so easily on this layout because it is so fast, so frenetic. Sometimes the best choice, and you saw Nick Gariosh almost had to make a similar choice. He had, in the end, had to back right out, and it's cost him a couple of places. He tries to regain some rhythm. Stephen Varga now slides on through for 24th. Ken Ladder's coming in to serve his compulsory stop, so he's getting that one out of the way. But we're side by side down the front straight. 18 laps here is going to fly by in the absolute blink of an eye, and these guys have to make some really, really tough decisions as they do make their way around this track as to, you know, when are they going to make the move and take that compulsory pit stop? Are they going to take one on race one, or are they just going to push on and charge on through it? But then you get to this back straight, and if you find yourself side by side, take a look in the background there as Phil Manuel gets all sorts of crossed up, and he's got a teammate in Luke Orman alongside him now, but Mitch Wood from Pantech is looking to go up the inside. They just get it back into line before the chicane. There is no room to even think for a moment here. I'm trying to get a step ahead of these drivers and what their strategy is going to be here, but I feel like up here in the booth we're going to be guessing just as much as they are. It's going to be purely instinctive reactions to what's going on around them.
Yeah, that's what this circuit is, and that's why I absolutely love, especially when the Cup cars come here in real life. Everything around here is instinctive. You're so busy all the time. It doesn't seem like, you look at the track map, there's so many straight lines. We see a few other cars into the lane. It looks like Jason Bentz and Brian Borg into the lane for their stops, and it certainly is Phil Manuel and Mick Clifton, Stephen Varga also following him in. So multiple drivers starting to make those stops now. Brian Palmer up the inside of Andrew Rushworth. He might lose a couple more spots here as well to Hayes, and he does coming up the hill. So it's getting starting to get to the point where I think everyone just sort of has to sort of make up what's going on. It's so busy around here. As I said, it looks like a fairly straightforward circuit. There's a lot of straight lines, a couple twisty bits, but you're so busy around here all the time. You're constantly thinking, you're looking for your braking marker coming to the bus stop. You do not want to mess up through here. You carry too much speed and you'll find yourself eating the sausage curb on two wheels and out in the weeds. And if you don't carry enough speed, you'll find people catching right up to you and maybe redesigning the rear end of your V8 Supercar if you're not careful. So there's a lot for these guys to think about. Everything's going to be instinctive, if I can get my words out. For someone like Ken Ladder, Jason Bentz as well, you have to think they're probably frustrated with where they are on track at this very point in time. I look where Jason Bentz is. He's in 36th place. Ken Ladder's in 35th now. Ken Ladder's 36th. That's not where they want to be. They've got to remember pretty much all the drivers in front of them are yet to serve any of their compulsory stops. So while this race may not yield many points for them, everyone else around them still has to serve a compulsory stop as well. So if this race is not what they were hoping in terms of track position, the next two certainly will be, because everyone else has to serve two stops. They only have to serve one.
Yeah, and this is going to be the really tough thing for us to keep track of for this race. Look at this, Jim Caperonis, the Chubby Buns Southern Cross Racing entry, almost up alongside of Troy Stone Street there and backed out at the last minute. It's cost him a little bit of pace and it's brought Jace Douglas back into it. These guys are finding it really, really tough to just get their lines established in a manner that allows them to really push on, and it's really just going to be who's got the stones, I suppose, to keep the foot buried and just maintain your line as you get through that chicane. The bus stop here is absolutely brutal. Dean Logsdale making the best of it. He's in third right now. Vanderkran's right on his tail. As we see in the background, Stone Street decides to take his compulsory stop as we approach rapidly the halfway point of race one. The hardest part for us here tonight is going to be keeping track of who's made their compulsory stop and who hasn't. So we're going to have to take I don't know, I'm going to take a snapshot or something here, I reckon, before we finish this race to try and stay on top of it. But there will be drivers who decide not to take a stop in race one and put it all on the line for race two.
Oh, there absolutely will be. I'm trying to keep up with I'm trying to write it down, but every time I feel like I'm writing it down, there's someone else that comes in the lane and it sort of throws me off. So I'm trying to do the best I can, make a list of who's doing their stops and who's done what. But it's certainly going to prove a challenge for us to keep up with. It's definitely going to prove a challenge for the drivers to keep up with. We're struggling in the commentary box, and all we're doing is sitting here looking at data and commentating them racing. The guys on track who don't really know what everyone else is doing are just going to play one big guessing game in terms of strategy. They'll have their teammates around them, potentially drivers there in a voice chat with that can help them. Potentially one or two drivers also may have spotters that can feed them a little bit of information. This is up the inside for Chad Weigart on Duddle. Can he make that stick? No, didn't quite get the drive off the penultimate corner that he would have liked. Out of the final corner though, maybe get something happening down in towards turn one. He is in 12th place mode. So Matt Vanderkrant in the lane, as well as that's Craig Schulz, Ryan Palmer, Mitch Wood, Andrew Listner, Rick Weigart, Glenn Boyce, Todd Martin, and Mick Power all into the lane. So there's even more drivers coming in to show the compulsory stop. We are 8 laps into this race, Jared Cole, and I've already lost track of who's doing what.
Yeah, and there's actually a couple of black flags in amongst it as well. I know Matt Vanderkrant's serving black flag, as is Craig Schulz, and then you've also got Todd Martin and Glenn Boyce serving black flags. Now, I haven't heard anything from race control to just confirm what those ones are for, but it's obviously been a bit going on in the argy-bargy that's been happening around the place as Simon Haynes continues on in the Quantum Racing Solar Guard entry. It's it's starting to finally settle down as we hit lap 8, would you believe? But settle down is a pretty interesting way to look at it. Jason Benz has picked himself up a meatball as well, and I have no idea exactly.
I was about to say something's happened. He's in 30. He was in 37th, 39th now. So something somewhere has happened. I was just about to point that out because I was looking at who was our first driver that had stopped. Here we go. This is what happened to Jason Benz, battling away with Ken Ladder.
Oh, he's just downshifted and
just
popped the motor.
Just stepped. Yeah.
Although no
has he popped the motor? Is it? It just looked like it stepped down. It looked like a lock, a rear lock that he's downshifted too quickly, locked the rear diff, and it's just stepped out on him, which you don't see a mistake like that too often from Jason Benz.
Let's have another look at that though, because there's locking the wheels, and then there's this other little puff there of smoke. That's absolutely an
smoke. That's got to be an engine, yeah.
So really unfortunate.
He's done a Ryan Palmer.
Well, look, it's not going to be an unusual thing, is it? As these guys push on, but I've very rarely seen an engine blow that hasn't ended up with the car sitting there smoking on the side of the road. So that's something a little bit different to add to our little book of things to watch for. Ordinarily, I expect it to be smoke pouring out of the bonnet, but tonight Benson's just
very
subtle. And that's it.
That's right, and yeah, it was a very subtle, sort of almost blended in with his rear lock, didn't it? So he's going to have to fight his way back through. He's now a lap down in this race, so this will be a bit of a write-off in race 1. He's in 44th place, back out on track, but obviously not ideal at all for the Quantum Racing driver. And that means that the first driver that has stopped in this race is Ken Ladder, who was in 19th place. So he is. We got a safety car here. We've got a few drivers going slow. It looks like we do.
Yeah. So we've missed the call there somewhere, but sure enough, the Chubby Buns safety car is out on track. Now, where it's gotten to is the next question.
It's a car stopped. Is that Jason Benz?
I don't know. I think that might be Benz. He's managed to.
Someone stopped it.
See, Benz is still stopped back there at
turn 1.
Turn 1.
Someone's stopped
Jason Dunn.
There.
There you go. Jason Dunn's been stranded on the outside there for a little while, and I'm not exactly sure. Now that's
yeah. There's a bit going on here on this. With a bit of confusion, I feel, with Jason Benz. You would think he would have potentially got a tow to move himself out of that location. What has happened to Jason Dunn? Oh, they've done very well.
It looks like there was actually a slightly earlier incident. We'll go back just a little bit further. Here we go. So Dunn coming down through turn 1 and finds himself, collects. I think that was Ash Hall coming back across.
I think that was a bit of assistance from Ash Hall there to send them both into the wall.
The interesting thing is that's actually occurred back on lap 7. Or
that's a while ago.
Yeah, that's like
he's been sitting there for a little while.
That's been sitting there for a while, waiting on the call as we see the Chubby Buns safety car out on track at the head of this field now. I'm wondering just how much of a bonus this will be for drivers who haven't actually hit it in yet, and thinking maybe they can, collect a fairly cheap compulsory pit stop here in this race. But really, I think a lot of drivers who have planned to make their stop have already done so. It's really from 19th back, Ladder, Borg, Stone Street. These guys have all made their stop this time around, and they're not going to be able to obviously cram a second stop in here. You can only do one per race, so there's no point in them going back in again. But it's it may just prove a bit of a strategy option perhaps for some of the other drivers to knock over their compulsory stop without losing, I don't know, quite so much.
I would have thought it would be very handy before the safety car had actually come out, when we were just under control of, as it comes in this lap now. So I don't think we'll see too many drivers come in for their compulsory stop. But I would have thought under safety car conditions, before the field was under the control of the safety car, you might have got away with a stop. But now the field's closed up. If you pit now, you're Blake Warboys, you come into the lane to pit, you're ending up right at the back of this field. And that is not where you want to be. So for these front guys, I think the strategy now is to stay out, and they're going to have to push on with where they are on track, and accept that the last 2 races of tonight, they're going to have to take a stop in both. Whereas someone like Ken Ladder, he only has to take a stop in one of the races. So all the way up to 19th place, yet to take a stop. So 18 cars that have not completed a compulsory stop, and we'll get a safety car restart now with about 7 laps to go in this race, and I think this is going to be a very action-packed 7 laps, Jared Cole, so buckle up.
Josh Harris very kindly reminding me no compulsory pit stops allowed under the safety car, so
there you go.
Explains why no one's taking advantage of that. I'm trying to keep up with all the regulations on all of these events, I promise, but there's a lot going on here on track, and I'm trying to figure out who's going to benefit the most from having made their stops. And I suppose really it's anyone who's made their stop before this safety car, because we see Warboys start to put the pedal down as we come towards the line to get underway once again. Walker, Logsdale, Caperonis, Douglas all tucked in right behind us. We see a big dive right into turn 1. That's Jace Douglas sending it up the inside of Jim Caperonis in that Chubby Buns Southern Cross entry. We're 3 wide on the exit of 1 as we come towards the uphill S's here. You can see them fighting to work out in the background. All it's doing is allowing these front drivers to just pull away. Look at the gaps opening up in the field already. I don't know if people just weren't ready for the jump there or what's happened, but it's opened up in a big way very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's really started to I don't know, shift in terms of what's happening here. You look at the gaps, there's already 2 seconds back to the car in, what position is that? I'm trying to see the numbers. 13th place. That is Nicholas Garlish, and
Nick Gariosh has opened up a big gap, and he's also got a gap back to Ernie Toth behind him. Brian Borg's had a big one, and he's
that's a
collected
huge moment.
Quite a bit of damage. He's going to try and limp that back to the pits, and Phil Manuel as well is dragging a front wheel there. We didn't see anything come up as an incident, but I'd say given the high-speed nature of the back part of the circuit, I reckon they've just kept on going, and so it hasn't actually been picked up as a crash due to the high speeds involved. But we'll go back and we'll take a look at that in just a second, because that one has the potential to cause some big issues for those guys. They both made their compulsory stop. Both Borg and Manuel have made their compulsory stops. This is really going to hurt them in terms of their position for this race.
Yeah, that's definitely not ideal, because they've served a pit stop. They were in a really strong position after serving that pit stop. Here we go. This is what happened.
So it's happened before this. Borg has already had the damage.
Yeah.
Might go back a bit further and see.
Wide.
With Phil Manuel running off track a little earlier, so he's done some damage
contact
before
there.
that even.
That's huge front end damage. He's
I don't know
the
where
front end
these
steering.
guys have managed to to have this happen.
Looks like Phil Manuel went into that outside wall at the top of the hill.
Yeah, maybe.
Looking at that replay, I think he's just maybe got it a little bit wrong, but that is huge damage for those guys, and they'll be super frustrated because, as you said, they've already served their compulsory stop in this race, and now all of a sudden they will drop all the way back. So it is Blake Warboys that leads the way from Wayne Walker, from Jason Douglas. And here we go. This is
already damage.
Already still damaged,
before they even get to. So
it's still already happened.
We might go back.
It seems like
just a little bit
every time
further.
we go back.
Keep your eye on Borg behind here. It's a big moment for, it looks like, Manuel, because Borg just gets squeezed by these. So there it is. Brian Borg gets smacked into the wall there, and then a big bounce across, and Phil Manuel just collects the back of him. So that's what's happened. Both Manuel and Borg nowhere to go, and his teammate into the back of him as well.
Multiple cars collided in the background as well, so there was multiple cars involved in that incident. That was a huge moment for quite a few drivers, and that's such a high-speed section of circuit as well. You get it wrong through there, you're essentially a passenger at that point. Once you're in the wall, there's nothing you can do to pull that up. You flat chat, you're full throttle, full noise, and that was super unfortunate for all those guys. So Ken Latta, 18th place, first driver to stop. Then Jamie Dyke, who started from the back of the field. Not only is he up to 19th, he's up 25 spots in this race so far. He has served a compulsory pit stop. So he's ticked the box, Jamie Dyke, of serving a compulsory pit stop and moving up this field. I think he's going to be a real contender in the pointy end of this field come race three tonight.
We'll see Ken Latta and Brad Hayes side by side in turn one. Bit of contact there. Latta gets pushed very wide. He'll be thankful for a complete lack of track limits here tonight as Hayes tries to stay within the usual limits. And Ken Latta says, no thanks, I'll just keep on rolling. So Hayes is going to start to drop back a little further. Jamie Dyke, as you said, is next on our relative, but he's a few seconds further back from this group. Out in front, there's a couple of little groups we've been keeping an eye on here. Luke Orman's been in it all night tonight. Andrew Rushworth and Warren McKee right on his tail. He's sitting in 8th at the moment. Hasn't actually taken his compulsory stop in this race. So I'd say at this stage, he's got to be looking at this and thinking, okay, this is my race where I don't take a compulsory stop. I'm going to have to get the best finish I can here and then somehow extract something special out of race 2 and 3 to make it a complete and really productive night for him. He's got a bit of pressure on, but he's actually really, really well positioned with only a few laps to go.
Yeah, he's in a really strong position here, isn't he? He's right on the back of Simon Hayes, trying to move up this field, but looking further back. This is Ryan Palmer. They were 3 wide at one stage, but that is Listener. It is Listener up the inside, and they're going to go side by side on the run down the front straight. So Ryan Palmer trying to get him around the outside. He's got the Chaz Mostert, Walkinshaw and Shredder United shirt on. So he's trying to channel his inner Chaz at the moment. Maybe channel a bit of inner Ryan Wood, because obviously his name is Ryan. So take a bit of that Ryan energy in. He's gone around the outside there at the exit of turn 1 through turn 2. So he's put those generous track limits, I think is the term we need to use, generous track limits to use. Got himself ahead and further up the field into 23rd position. So he's got a little bit of work to do. This is the battle for the race lead. We've been looking at what's been happening further down the pack, Jared, but meanwhile, there's a really good battle going on between Blake Warboys and Wayne Walker for the lead of this race.
Yeah, and Wayne Walker not letting Warboys get away at all here. He's been all over the back of him. Neither of these guys serving their compulsory stop. They've got a 3-second gap back to Dean Longsdale. So with only 2 laps, or just under 2 laps to run here, I can't see this changing. But Walker's he's got it all to do here if he wants to pick up the extra spot. He's going to have to find somewhere here to try and make a move. And I reckon this lap traffic just ahead might be just what he's looking for. I think is that Vince Salvatore just in front, or just a little bit of a moment there as we see Salvatore pull out wide to get out of the way. So almost playing beautifully into Walker's hands. Not quite enough of a difference for him to make anything of it. But these guys will take the white flag as they come by this time around. There's battles going on all the way around this track at the moment. These three still absolutely locked in it at the moment. Mitch Wood, Andrew Hoffman, Trav Daly line astern as they try and pick up an extra spot here in the closing stages of race 1. And tell you what, if this is what we've seen in race 1, race 2 promises to be something a little bit special.
Oh, and just you wait for race 3 because Luke Allman has come in, so he's serving a stop. That's bold. That is very bold. Very late, very bold. Potentially may have seen how far this field is spreading and try to use that to his advantage. He will drop behind Ken Latta, Brad Hayes, Jamie Dyke, Mick Clifton. He's going to drop behind all the key runners. So that is a very bold late move from Luke Allman to make that decision to come into the pit lane, because that's going to cost him quite a lot of track position. And maybe he knows something we don't. There could be a bit of gamesmanship to this from Luke Allman. He's battling away with Simon Hayes in 7th position, so that could be a bit of gamesmanship with Simon Hayes to say, well, I'm not going to get past him, I'm not going to make it happen here, so I may as well take my compulsory stop, get it out of the way, and by the time we get to race 3 tonight, we're going to be struggling to keep up with who's done what, who's served what pit stops. I'm going to try and get a screenshot to understand who has completed their stops, but it is going to be Blake Warboys that wins race 1 from Wayne Walker, Dean Logsdale, Jason Douglas, Mark Poynton, and Jim Capronis, Simon Hayes, Andrew Rushworth, Lorne McKee, and Nicholas Garosh. I'm going to get that right. Rounds out the top 10. What an action-packed race 1. We had Ken Latta, who was served a compulsory pit stop, finishes 13th place.
Yeah, and it's going to be a race all the way to the line for a lot of these guys. I don't know there's enough in it. We see some big dives at the death here as Darren Walden and Dean Logsdale bring it home towards the back of the field. We look a bit further back in this group as Grant and Palmer just swap it around there in the late stages. I'm not actually sure what's going on there. Late crash for Ryan Palmer. That's going to be frustrating. That is. I can't even. He does not look happy. No, and I can't even see where that's gone wrong. Let's go back and take a look.
Is that the last corner? No, second last corner.
No, so it's not back here. Let me just see what we can pick up here. So what's happened for Ryan Palmer? The damage already done at this point. Oh, well, that'll do it. He was limping at home. Whether he's run out of fuel there or what, I'm not sure. But that's
not sure.
That's a momentous incident.
That has reshaped the rear end of his car, which is super frustrating for Ryan. You can see on his face, he is trying so hard. He obviously knows he's on camera. He's trying so hard not to display any sort of verbal or external frustration, but that would be super annoying for Ryan. He's a very emotional guy and gets really, as he should, gets really into the emotion of this sport. And yeah, he'll be super frustrated with that because he was so close to the line and all of a sudden, bang.
Well, this is how they'll line up for race 2 because we're straight back into it. Remember, on a 3-race night, there is no gap in between race 1 and race 2. So the Solar Guard Supercar Championship continues here straight on into race number 2. Blake Warboys and Wayne Walker at the head of the field, then Dean Logsdale and Jason Douglas behind them, Mark Point and Jim Capronis on row 3, Simon Hayes and Andrew Rushworth on row 4, then Lorne McKee and Nicholas Garriosh as 2 Cup Trophy contenders right there on row number 5, ready for this one. Dave Liddell and Ernie Toth behind them, then Ken Latta and Brad Hayes, Jamie Dyke and Mick Clifton on row 8, Abel Burban and Mitch Wood, row 9, Travis Daly and Andrew Hoffman rounding out your top 20. Stephen Varga and Matt Vanderklein ahead of Andrew Lister and Rick Varga, Mick Power and Scott Perrins, then Darren Walden and David Logsdale line up ahead of Luke Allman and Brad Grant as we get ready to go racing. We are straight back into it here, folks. No time, no rest for the wicked. The lights are up and we are ready to go racing once again. Warboys and Wayne Walker will lead us down to turn 1, and these guys no time to regather after race 1. Straight back into it. Look at the squeeze already up the inside as drivers contest position. They know that it's going to be absolutely on from turn 1 here, and certainly a more aggressive start off the line than we saw in race number 1 as everyone battles to get in position. They know how hard this race is going to be over the length of it.
Yeah, everyone knows how hard this is going to be tonight. This is going to be the test. Everyone now is starting to work out who's done what. I'm trying to get all the drivers' names copied, but it's proving a little bit of a challenge to try and get all the data. I'm really working hard to make this data happen for this tonight, so we can try and keep track of who's doing what, who's pitting where. But whoa, we've got massive contact on the exit of the bus stop. He's pushing him sideways into traffic. Has he got away with that? I think they have somehow. I do not know how they've gone away with that, but I'm trying to work out who that was. I think everyone has.
Was that Mick Rudd and David Logstone? No, it was an Angry Birds car in there. So
it was an Angry Bird. It definitely was an Angry Birds car.
Somewhere in this
that was
group,
in there, but
these guys have actually recovered that. I have no idea how they managed. You can see, look at the dive to the pits for so many of these drivers. Everyone going, no, I'm getting this out of the way well and truly early this time around. And the lead changes massively as basically the entirety of the field, or at least half the field, jumps on in to the pits at the end of lap 1. They want to get that out of the way and benefit from any safety car that might be ahead of them. Burbank picks up a black flag as well. And we see some close battles already starting to form up. It's look, it's going to be another very interesting race, I think.
It certainly is. I'm not envying these guys out at the moment. This is stressful stuff. They're still jockeying for position in the pit lane, which, if you will believe, so it is proving to be a challenge.
Out of the chicane there.
And
off goes Craig Schultz from 9.5 as well. So there's plenty of contests going on here.
Everyone was well behaved in the first race, and I think the gloves have just come off now. They've gone, right, well, we behaved the first race. Race 2. It's going out the window.
Dragging that front left. It's completely locked up. That suspension has collapsed and the sparks flying off the bodywork as he tries to drag it back around to the pit bay. That'll be from that contact with Schultz as well, but it's completely destroyed his front left.
Yeah, that is not ideal.
To say the least.
To say the least. That is actually that's an understatement. Ken Ladder into the lane. So Luke Ullman getting a second pit stop out of the way. Ken Ladder, Stephen Varga, Andrew Rushworth. There's multiple drivers that are now taking advantage of the lead pack, like Wayne Walker and Jason Douglas, that have had to serve their first stop and going, well, I'm going to serve my second stop because you still have to do one in the next race. So it's getting exciting now. This is where the strategy comes in. This is why I'm really trying to get these numbers, but I'm struggling to keep up with what's going on.
Just taking the grass the whole way through the chicane, got his braking all sorts wrong. He makes contact now though. And Craig Rose slides the outside, manages to recover it. He's only going to drop a couple of spots. But I tell you what, we've seen a much different approach to this in this race. Nick Garrioff picks up another spot. He moves up into 4th as Dave Liddell comes in for the pit. And that pit entry, is one of the most dangerous pit entries I can imagine on any of the tracks that we go racing at, because of just how close it is to the apex that you're really slowing down to pull in there. You've got to indicate very, very early through your car movement that you are heading in, or people are going to run straight up the back of you. Ernie Toth now just approaching Mitch Wood coming out of the pits by the look of it. No, sorry. That will be... Who's that that's just come out of the pits ahead of them? That is Power, who gets flung into the fence there. I don't know if there's contact that's thrown him, but he'll try and recover that. So Mick Power, not the ideal way to come back out of the pits. He's probably taken a couple of cold tyres, so taking it a little bit easy. Well, he will have taken cold tyres because he needs to, but he's going to have to park that up there, and the question will be if we see another safety car as a result.
Well, that could throw a couple strategies out the window if there was anyone planning to come in anytime soon, because, we've got another car backwards.
Darren Walden.
A slight graze, Darren Walden. That was... whoever gave the slight graze there,
Craig Rose
did very well.
He's been
very well to avoid massive contact. He has been in it. He has been struggling tonight to stay out of the wars. And look, a beautiful job for him to really avoid major contact there.
That was the earlier one. Was Craig Schultz.
That was the early one. Yeah. So the Craigs are in the wars tonight.
Yeah, Craig Rose going to come on in and make a pit stop here. No safety car at the moment, so everyone has managed to get it rolling again. But out in front, Mark Point and Jim Caparonis, the Frog Leap Juiced and the Chubby Buns Southern Cross Racing entry, both just relishing a little bit of clear air. Look at the gaps behind them. This is about as clean as it gets anywhere. Huge list of drivers that have made a stop in this race. In fact, it's the top 14 haven't made a stop this race. Everyone else has at this point.
Wow.
With the exception of, I think, Phil Manuel's done a drive-through, but not actually made a stop at this point. It's it's a very, very interesting race here. Have a look at the number of Cup Trophy drivers in that top 14.
Wow, which just goes to show you these drivers obviously yet to stop in this race. That's what happens when we see so many drivers come into the pit lane to serve their compulsory stop. The field gets shaken up. All these guys that I don't think they would necessarily expect to be at the front end. As we see, this is what happens.
That's what happens. Oh,
just a slight tag.
And tried to just roll it out of the way, but Craig Rose just couldn't quite get
Craig
wide.
Rose has done very well. He's done very well to avoid a major incident there, to get it as wide as he did. It's
a little moment there from Logsdale. Dean Logsdale just struggling to get the grip under him as he puts the foot down out of that final turn. Yeah, it's such a high-speed track, this Cup layout of Watkins Glen, and it really does lead to, especially with new tyres being a requirement of the compulsory stops here, it's going to lead to these drivers having to be very, very careful for a lot more of the lap than they probably were anticipating. Because the cold tyres will make a massive difference coming out of that pit lane.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that statement. These cold tyres are going to make all the difference in just trying to go on grip. And if you come out of the lane and you're trying to have a close battle with someone, they're going to have the advantage in this situation with with just the difference in temperature, and it makes such a difference in these supercars. You'd think in a GT3 race it makes a little bit of a difference, but in the supercars, that rear tyre especially temperature difference makes so much of an advantage for the car that is up to temperature. Dean Logsdale up the inside of, Jason Douglas. It is the JMR car. They're side by side into the final corner. So Jason Douglas taking advantage of the very relaxed track limits, and they continue to be side by side through the final corner. Run down towards turn one now. Are they going? Who's going to come out of them in front of this here? Dean Logsdale around the outside, deep into the braking zone, carried a lot of speed there because he knows he can use all of that runoff to his advantage. Still side by side with Jason Douglas, though, who's just inch nose ahead, and I think Jason Douglas, in all of that, will hold on to the position. Dean Logsdale set himself up early. A little bit of contact here, rubbing going on. Side to side, almost in the wall. Almost in the wall for Dean Warboys. That is for Blake Warboys. Sorry, that is heart and mouth stuff for him, and it is absolutely all happening here. I don't know what happened to Blake Warboys for him to be so far behind Wayne Walker, who's up in 10th already. So he was leading this race early on, and is now all the way back in 19th place.
Oh, look, just the way that these pit stops have played out, I think tonight more than anything. Warboys making his pit stop on that first lap, Wayne Walker doing the same. But when I take a look at the time in the bay, interestingly, Walker actually spent a good extra couple of seconds. So there's definitely been something happen that has seen Warboys drop all the way back through the field. In amongst all this, have a look at this though. Warboys absolutely pushing on. Phil Manuel gives up the position, but this line of cars we've got in the middle here now is going to present a real challenge. As you see, cars coming out of the pit lane at low speed, they're going to be caught right in the middle of this, and I think that might be that it's getting caught up. Darren Walden's in there as well.
And looks like
it's, this is a very, very close group. It looks like 3-4 wide on this straight. They're going to have to sort this out before they get to the chicane.
Oh no!
There's contact. Nicholas Garrioch gets rubbed into. Just pulls it together. Oh, we got very, very lucky there to avoid a massive incident. Garrioch has done a brilliant job controlling that car and keeping it out of the wall and out of the panels of the cars around him. It's going to cost him some spots, but better that than ending up ruining your race.
I'll tell you what, that is best case scenario for Nick Garrioch. He's done so well there to catch that. I saw it coming from a mile away. 4 wide does not go in that bus stop. You think the track is wide enough to accommodate it, but once you get to the bus stop, it narrows very quickly. Here we go, Dean Logsdale again, side by side with... Who's this? He's got Stone Street and Matt Vanderkraan in and around him. So I think he got that move done on Matt Vanderkraan to move up a spot, and now he's chasing after Troy Stone Street. So He's trying to move forward in this race. He's trying to push as hard as he can to gain as many spots as he can. But it's hard work out here trying to get these overtakes done. You'd think with the long straights and the slipstream, it'd be relatively straightforward, but it is hard work out here.
Ashley Hall just having a moment on the way out of the pits. I don't know if he's just lit the rears up or something like that, but he's stranded just at the exit of the pit stop. I think he's got it underway again by the look of things, but for a moment there I was a little worried we were going to have another safety car come out. A few drivers maybe anticipating that point, and Capronis and Wood all coming in to make their stop. Would you believe Rick Vigar finds himself in the lead of the race just after the halfway point? He's up 23 spots since the start of this race and has almost 4 seconds over Mick Clifton in second spot. Go you good thing, Rick. Just stay out there, mate. Forget your compulsory stop. I can't remember if you even got one in the first race, but who cares? Just go for the win, son.
Yeah, no,
he did make a stop in race one, so he could. He could push on here if he wanted to.
I think he should. In this situation, strategy-wise, you're in the position to win this race. Look, realistically, you may not be in that position in the next race if you take this stop now. So I would, if I was Rick Vigar, I would stay there. He's pulling away from Mick Clifton. He's pulling away from pretty much all the cars behind. Wayne Walker is catching, but he's got a fair bit of work to do if he does want to catch. And we've got this battle pack going on in the background, so I don't think these guys are going to be catching up anytime soon. Side by side through the bus stop, Phil Manuel, Stephen Varga. This is amazing driving from these seasoned operators, you could say, and then Stephen Varga. No, Phil Manuel, I believe, is going to lose a bunch of spots there because they all just he got caught on the high line. Everyone went up the inside and took advantage. Troy Stone Street looking up the inside of Stephen Varga now. So he's trying to get the elbows out, make a move up the inside, get himself further up the field, around the outside into the final corner. So the inside line turns to the outside line through the final corner. They're still side by side, the run down the front straight. And now Dean Logsdale is inviting himself to the party as well. So continuing to move forward. Stephen Varga's going to lose a couple spots. Nice and wide for Dean Logsdale again, using all of that track limits that you're allowed. There's still a car stopped on the inside there. Could we see a safety car here if that car that's stopped on the inside doesn't get moving anytime soon?
I think that might have been Mick Rudden. I think he's just come out of the pits, if I'm not mistaken. And he's decided to just wait on everyone getting past him and wait for a gap in the traffic. And probably a pretty wise choice in terms of surviving the absolute chaos that this has been here in race 2. It's been nothing short of a miracle that we haven't seen a massive incident yet, but I recognise that I've probably guaranteed that we've got one on the way with just a third of the race left to go. 6 laps here. Rick Vigar out in front, Mick Clifton behind him, then Scott Perrins and Vince Salvatore. So 3 of our Cup Trophy drivers in the top 4 will be looking for massive points here. What a way to start off their campaign.
Absolutely, this is a brilliant way to, and it's such a confidence boost as well to have such a strong result here. Yes, you can talk about, but you know, they haven't done this stop and they haven't done this stop. It doesn't matter. They're still at the front of the field. They're still performing well, and
it's a strategy call, isn't it?
And it is. It's absolutely a strategy call. And at the end of the day, no one will look back on this race result and say, oh, who did this and who did that. What they're going to look back and see is that they are at the top of the field, and that is what's important for these guys, and they absolutely thoroughly deserve it. They have played this strategy really, really smart. They got their first compulsory stop out of the way in the first race, and now they find themselves at the point end of this field. So I take my hat off to them. They've driven brilliantly.
Now, in saying that, Wayne Walker has just been chipping away this whole way, and he's now going to look for a move on Vince Salvatore as we come towards the end of this lap. Gets from the outside to the inside, decides to cut back across. Salvatore will be watching his mirror very, very closely. Scotty Perrins up ahead. Just returning to this season after missing last season here with ASR. Good to see him back behind the wheel, and he's enjoying just a little bit of a gap opening up behind him. I don't know if it'll last though, because Salvatore and Walker battling away at it. Walker's going to look to the inside here at turn 1. He's got plenty of pace. He'll be late on the brakes, and Salvatore's going to have to really drive it hard out of 1 here if he wants to stay with him. Gets up and over that curb. You can see how much it unsettles the rear end of these supercars. But in the end, Wayne Walker too fast on that inside line, and he'll move up now into 3rd.
Yeah, that's he's got pace, and this is why he's a champion. He is so fast in these cars at pretty much any circuit. Wayne Walker, he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to catch the cars at the front. Where we lost Vigar. He's not at the front anymore. I just noticed. Have I missed that? I believe I may have missed that. There's no.
You and I both. Has Rick Vigar had a disconnect there?
That is. I'm just trying to work out.
He's come through and he's done a pit stop. There we go. He's
done a
made
pit stop.
the decision to actually take his compulsory stop. That's Oh,
that's a bold call.
What do you do, right? Damn if you do, damn if you
that's
don't.
right.
We're going to criticise
exactly
you either
right.
way, Rick. I'm sorry. So, and it's easy to do from up here in the booth.
You can't win. You can't win, Rick. You cannot win in this situation. We will. We'll let you know either way.
Yeah,
that's right. But no, that's a shame. He was driving really well, but now Wayne Walker, he has about 4.5 seconds to make up to Mick Clifton for the lead of this race. So he's got past Perrins and now has it all to do to try and get to the front of this field. So this is going to be a really interesting next 5 laps.
Yeah, and look, I wouldn't put it past Walker to be able to catch up that sort of gap, but at this stage, Mick Clifton's absolutely going to be looking at that, going, yeah, I can make this work. Don't need to take the pit stop on this one. Just push on and go for the win. Crazy not to. It'd be a very, very late decision if he was to take one of his compulsory stops here. Just taking a look at the list that I sort of grabbed from the last one, he did take a compulsory stop in race 1. So
yes,
it's this race where he's got the option to actually hold off on it and to make the most of it as the battles continue behind him. Mark Poynton still in amongst this as he leads Jace Douglas and Ken Latta around the final turn. He's got a bit of work to do here. Lots of pressure from 2 fairly quick drivers tucked in behind him, but Poynton is doing nicely. Down only 1 spot so far in this race despite the compulsory stop. Really, the biggest gainers at the moment are the 3 unusual suspects out in front, let's call them for lack of a better way to describe them. Mick Clifton, Scott Perrins and Vince Salvatore all up double-digit positions. Clifton up 15 spots, Perrins up 23, Vince Salvatore up 30, thanks to not taking the pit stop in this race. And they'll be looking at the points on offer here and absolutely giggling.
Oh, won't they just? They will be absolutely loving it at the moment as I temporarily lose my vision. I'm not sure what's happened there, but that's all right. I'm just trying to do the maths on who has actually served both their compulsory stops, and Ken Latta is standing out to me as someone who has served both compulsory stops in this race. Will not have to stop again when we get to race 3 in just a few laps time. However, someone like Wayne Walker has only done 1 stop tonight, so he'll have to stop in that final race. So this is where the strategy starts to get interesting, and varying strategy calls start to converge on each other in who is left to do what. And Ken Latta and Jamie Dyke are 2 drivers that have stopped twice, 1 in each of the 2 races so far, and will not have to stop in that final race. That's key.
So Steve Stone Street, an awesome exit out of that final turn. He's going to go around the outside here. Borg's going to make it very, very difficult. They're side by side out of turn 1. Look at the slide from Brian Borg as he tries to hold on to it. He's going to lose another spot on the outside and 1 on the inside as Ryan Palmer sticks a nose in a little bit of a rub there. But Palmer's going to push on, and he's battling door to door here with one of the fastest drivers from last race. And Palmer says, no, I'm still alongside. I'm going to hold on to this, and really establishing himself on the run towards the chicane. Look up the inside, though, because here comes Matt Vanderkraan. A last-minute decision to back out of that. These guys really do know that the end of this race is coming, and they're looking for every opportunity. Unfortunately for Borg, lost a couple in that one move.
Yeah, that's super frustrating for Brian Borg. It's been a difficult night for him tonight after having such a strong qualifying result, looking really aggressive at the start of this race, sticking with Ken Latta and then getting caught up in that incident in race 1, which sent him further down the field. Matt Vanderkraan and Jason Bench, these guys are battling away. Jason Bench is on the fight back as well after blowing an engine in race 1, so he's back up to 19th, so he's doing a really good job, up 27 spots in this race. That is a huge amount of gain. Brian Borg up 25, Ryan Palmer 17, Troy Stone Street 17, Vince Salvatore 26, and a lot of these guys, so pretty much everyone now has served at least 1 compulsory stop. But again, there are those key drivers that have served 2 compulsory pit stops, and this is Salvatore and Blake Warboys battling away for the 8th place on the grid. So Salvatore probably a little bit out of position here, given that he is a little bit of a touch-up trophy driver. And Blake Warboys trying to make a point of forcing his way past. Jamie Dyke's going to look to go with him. He runs to the outside line for the penultimate corner. Haynes is in the background as well. He's keen to come past Simon Haynes. So Jamie Dyke gets that done in the braking zone and will try and stick with Blake Warboys here to potentially set himself up, and then Finn Salvatore just sort of gets out of the way there, doesn't he? He knows it's not really his fight. A little bit of a lock-up from Jason Benz. He's done well not to collect the rear end of Matt Vanderkraan there and take him with him, but that was a huge moment for Jason Benz. Grabbed it looked like the left front on the way into the penultimate corner, and that is scary.
Well, it looks like we've got Isaac back. We do. We lost you there for a moment, mate. But yeah, absolutely a very scary moment there for Benson. He's done well to hold on to it. Dean Logsdale now watching the rear view. Matt Vanderkraan and Luke Orman right on his tail. Mick Clifton is counting down the laps. He's just started. Oh, he's halfway through now the final laps. The white flag is out. He's still got a 2-second lead over Wayne Walker. So it looks like he's going to take a win here. Dean Logsdale, is he out of fuel?
Might be.
I think he's run dry, so that's a horrible finish to his race here. He's going to have to try and limp it home. But Mick Clifton, how's this for the Accelerate Sim Racing entry? Up 15 spots this race. He's played the strategy game. He's decided not to take the stop here, and he will come across the line and take P1 for race number 2. Wayne Walker behind him. Jim Caparonis with some clean air there. Side by side at the line. Point and Perrins, Ladder, Douglas, Warboys, Dyke, Haynes, all across the line in quick succession, and the rest of the field will be making a dive for this one as well, as we see a few more of the drivers coming towards the line here. It's going to be side by side at the finish, but it looks like they will finish Benz, Orman, Vanderkraan, Garrioch, and tell you what, there was not a lot in that as they came across the line. The rest of the field starting to flow on through here, and we will we'll try and maybe get a bit of a better view of some of the back half of this grid as well. If you'll bear with us here, folks, we'll try and free a few things up to allow us to see a few more drivers in one hit towards the back of the field here. There we go. Quite a bit of separation in the back part of this field now, as the last of the drivers do make their way across the line. Varga comes past. Look at this, Jason Dunn, the poor bloke. Looks to have lost a couple of spots at the last moment there, but is that Varga, who I think has at the last minute, he's run out of fuel, just shy of the line. Stephen Varga has just run short, and he is hoping to get just a little bit of a roll down that slight decline. This is going to be the slowest crossing of the line, but he's going to keep going because Damon Fisher, Dean Logsdale and Craig Rose are still coming behind him. So if he can make it to the line here, he'll pick up 37th. Fisher just having a bit of a flicker in the background. I think Vargas is going to get there, but only just as Damon Fisher, Dean Logsdale and Craig Rose are on their way behind him. That is frustrating for him, but Stephen Varga, I tell you what, that's a never say die attitude. I think, though, getting passed by the leader means that he's not actually going to get to finish that one off, which is a real shame for him, honestly.
That is a shame.
Let's take a look at the results there from race number 2. And this is how it looked in the end. Clifton takes the win, almost 2 seconds ahead of Wayne Walker, so he'll be cheering. Jim Caparonis, Mark Poynton behind them. Scott Perrins picks up some great Cup Trophy points in 5th with Ken Ladder and Jason Douglas, then Blake Warboys. Jamie Dyke home in 9th, Simon Haynes and Lorne McKee behind them. Stone Street and Palmer ahead of Benson Orman, then Vanderkraan and Garrioch. Andrew Hoffman and Rick Varga with Ernie Toth rounding out your top 20. We go a little bit further back through the field. Listener and Hayes ahead of Rushworth, then Wood, Grant and Boyce ahead of Dodell and Schultz. Sipple and Martin rounding out your top 30 with Phil Manuel just outside, but still ahead of Brian Borg and Trav Daly, with Jason Dunn, Vince Salvatore and Abel Verban behind them. Stephen Varga just getting pinged as one lap down. That's pretty rough, honestly. It's just that Clifton, I think, must have gone past him in the lane on the wrap up of that race, and it's a real shame for Vargas to finish a lap down as a result.
Yeah, it's super disappointing for Stephen Barger. Yeah, he ran out of fuel at the line. He was crawling low. Basically, should have just got out and pushed it. I think it would have been a little bit quicker. But yeah, super disappointing. But nevertheless, we have one more race this evening to go. And crucially, the point I'll keep coming back to is Ken Latta does not have to stop again. He is in the box seat, I would imagine, for this race.
Yeah, look, just about everyone made a stop in that second race. There were only a couple of drivers, Mick Clifton and I think Vince Toro might have been the only two drivers who didn't make a stop in that race. So I'm going to be referring to my list from race 1 as the list of drivers who don't have to make a stop here, and it's only about half the field, honestly. So it's going to really reverse the finishing order here. It'll be interesting to see how the points wrap up. He's waited long enough. Josh Harris has been hanging in there, I'm sure, at home, waiting for his moment to shine. So, mate, here it is. You thought that looked hectic. This is what it looks like for a run around Watkins Glen Cup layout in the Gard Mustang.
Ladies and gents, welcome again aboard the Gard Gen 3 Ford Mustang. This week we are at Watkins Glen, one of North America's most famous NASCAR circuits. Not long to settle yourself into your lap here at Watkins Glen, straight away into turn 1, which is one of the most important corners on the whole circuit. It really sets us up for this run up towards the bus stop. Turns 2 and 3 and 4 sweeping, and they look flat out, but in a Gen 3 Supercar it's a huge delicate balance of throttle application to make sure that you don't slide. And now we're just hunting for our braking marker, hard on the brakes, and now we're up over the curbs, back to third, jumping the curbs on the exit, pulling 4th gear quickly, and then into this incredibly long corner. In the throttle as early as we can. This is a NASCAR track, so we're going to abuse the limits just like a NASCAR track allows us to. We're nearly home, second last corner coming up. Once again, big brake application, back to 4th gear, making sure we use the camber on the road all the way to the inside. One last corner. It's incredibly tricky, making sure that we don't slide up into the barrier on the way out. It's fast, there's not much chance to have a rest, but it is incredibly fun. It's going to be a great track to watch our competitors run on tonight. I can't wait. I hope that you all have a fantastic evening here with Alliance Sim Racing, and I will see you next week.
Well, Josh Harris showing what it's like from the driver's seat around the cup layout here. It is absolutely flat stick. I don't think there's any other way to describe it, really, is there, Isaac?
No, it's 100% commitment. You're so busy. Even when you're going in a straight line, you're busy around here. The undulation in the road, just how this track is laid out, you pretty much do not get a rest until you stop driving the car at this circuit. So it's I hope everyone at home watching that gets a sense of just how hard these drivers are working to extract the pace and the consistency that they are from these cars, because it is so tough at this track, and I'm super impressed. And we still have one more race to go, 18 more laps of action lay ahead of us tonight for these drivers to try and get some more points for their championship. And I think, honestly, drivers like Matt Vanderkraan, Ken Latta are in the box seat. Jamie Dyke as well. He has come from the back of the grid after not qualifying to be, I reckon, in the conversation for a podium in this final race.
Well, look, this sort of race setup, honestly, it is all about the performance over your 3 races. That's what it comes down to. Let's take a look at the grid for the final race here. Another 18 laps lie ahead. Clifton and Walker on the front row, then Caparonis and Point with Perrins and Latta on row 3. Douglas and Warboys on row 4. Jamie Dyke right there on row 5 alongside Simon Haynes. Further back through the grid, Lorne McKee and Stone Street ahead of Palmer and Bentz. Then Allman and Vanderkraan line up on row 8. Nicholas Garrioch and Andrew Hoffman behind them. Rick Vigar and Ernie Toth rounding out your top 20. It's a massive field here once again tonight. Andrew Lister and Brad Hayes just outside your 20 with Rushworth and Wood behind them. Grant and Boyce, Sendadell and Schultz ahead of Sipple and Martin. Further back, Phil Manuel and Brian Borg will line up alongside each other with Trav Daly and Jason Dunn behind them. Vince Salvatore and Abel Verban. Salvatore just confirming he did pit, ran out of fuel in race number 2 there. Unfortunate for him, so he'll be starting from further back in the field with Stephen Varga and Dean Logsdale ahead of Damon Fisher and Jamie McKnight. We are about to go racing once again, and wouldn't you know it, we are straight back into it. I don't quite know what we're going to get this time, but we are underway, and Clifton and Walker lead us on down towards turn 1 for the final time here tonight. Are we going to see a repeat of an aggressive opening lap, or are we going to see the drivers now starting to just, I don't know, try and hold it together and maximise their points in this final race as we come up the hill for the first time? We're still too wide through the front end of this pack. Finally starting to sort it out now. Benson Stone Street goes side by side. A little bit of smoke there as drivers get it sideways, and here we go down the back straight. Walker going very, very defensive, trying to hold off Caperonis and help his teammate Mick Clifton out if he can, as we get through for the first time the chicane here, the bus stop at Watkins Glen. And I think I don't want to say too much until we've got the rest of the field through here, but it looks like another clean start, Isaac Fogarty.
Well, let's see how much further we can get. Hopefully we can get to the end of this lap without any major issues, but that's been something that I've been impressed with tonight. This circuit, especially with how many cars there are and how close they all are on lap 1, everyone jockeying for position. It's so easy for someone to just touch the grass somewhere, get a little bit wide, and all of a sudden you've got a major incident on your hands, and they've all done well. Wayne Walker, smart. He's going lap 1, getting it out of the way, and then hope that there's a late race safety car to get you back in this race, because pretty much from now you are out of it. But everyone that's left to serve a compulsory pit stop is pretty much getting it out of the way straight away, and that is smart. So Jim Caprotis inherits the lead of this race from Mark Corey, Mick Clifton, who will have to stop again. Ken Latta sits in 4th place. Blake Warboys up to 5th as well. I believe he has to do another stop in this race as well. So there's a couple drivers still out there yet to serve their compulsory stop. But yeah, smart from Wayne Walker, I think, to dive in at the end of lap 1 to get that out of the way too early.
Yeah, it's going to put him to the back of the field, but he's going to want the clean air to make the most of this if he can. Ken Latta gets pushed to the outside, and Warboys goes through, picks up 4th spot. Douglas behind, looking for an opportunity as well. Josh Harris just mentioning, it sounds like the setup only has enough fuel for about 16 laps, and I think you might be on the money there considering what we've seen, mate, and that's going to make it very, very interesting tonight. Yeah, a massive, massive fuel save job ahead of some of these drivers if they want to maximise having already done their first 2 stops, as we see a couple more drivers heading on in. Now Mick Rudd's picked up a meatball flag already as well, so there's definitely some action going on in the background. I can't see anything that suggests he's come together with anyone on that opening lap, but maybe another blown motor.
That would be super disappointing if that is the case. Hopefully not. I'm sure we'll get on the replay to find out. I'm just noticing as well, as I try and keep track of who's done what, Ryan Palmer is 5th place on the road at the moment. He's also served 2 stops already tonight, so he'll have to do a lot of fuel saving. But himself, Ken Latta, Jason Bent, Matt Vanderkran, Jamie Dyak, they are the first 5 cars to have completed all 2 stops required tonight, so they should be on correction once the guys in front serve their final compulsory stop. Your top 5 in this race. So Ryan Palmer is finding his way towards the front of the field and could set himself up for a little race win after what was a bit of a struggle earlier on in the night. So Jamie Dyak as well. We've had a couple hard luck stories in race 1 that have come back to serve them well in race 2 there, or race 3, sorry, at the pointy end.
As Troy Simple finds himself alongside Brad Grant as they're battling it out here. It's just trying to keep track of who's diving for the pits and who's staying out at the moment. Jamie Knight comes in, Phil Manuel comes in, Verban's in. So there's a lot of change happening in these early stages. It's not surprising to see Matt Vanderkran up in 7th is just enjoying a little bit of room ahead of him. But Ryan Palmer, how's this for pressure? Jason Bent's right on his tail on the run down. It looks like Bent's going to try and make the move towards the chicane. Who's going to back out first? Palmer decides to just let that one go, and I think at this stage in this race, probably the safest thing to do.
Yeah, definitely the safest thing to do. Do not try and battle too hard at this stage of the race. There's still a long way to go. You know you have to save fuel, so I think Ryan Palmer, that's a smart move to get out of the way. We've got damage here for Chad Weiger. That is a very, very sorry-looking front end on the Ford Mustang. That is, just trying to see where that may have happened. That is super frustrating for Chad Weiger on the Andy Birds racing car.
Well.
It is a long drive back to the pit. Oh, we've got a car around at the final corner, and that's right in front of the pit lane. So that's sort of slightly convenient for trying to work out who that is that's losing all those positions. McKee, and he was definitely helped there by the looks of it. But the good news is he can just drive into the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to happen, you want it on that side of the pit lane rather than the other, don't you? It's never going to be ideal, but yeah, you'll take it. Now, this is going to be interesting. The one to watch here, from my mind, is Jamie Dye. He is absolutely a fuel-saving master. We've seen him win races on fuel strategy alone before, so he'll be one to watch. If he's keeping a slightly slower pace, then you'll know that's about the pace that he needs to make it home here. And I suspect Ryan Palmer ahead of him is doing much the same. Keep an eye on these lap times as they come through. The best laps for virtually the entire field are in the mid 11s to low mid 12s. These guys at the front end of the field now are sitting in the 12s. That's very, very early to be running that slow if you're not going fuel saving. So it does tell you that that is on the mind of a few of these drivers here. They don't want to have to make a splash and dash stop.
No, that's what they're trying to think about here. They want the advantage of not having to come back into the pit lane again. So having the splash and dash completely negates what they did earlier in the night by getting those two compulsory stops out of the way in the first two races, and will put them on par with those that have had to serve a regular stop in this race, or pretty much on par with those who've had to serve a stop in this race. Conversely, or consequently, drivers like Wayne Walker, who have stopped already in this race, do not have to fuel save. They will get home pushing as hard as they can to the end. So that will mean that they yield a pace advantage over those around them. This is a battle between Gariosh and I believe that's Wood in front. And that was a really nice move from Wood. And we're getting a replay here.
What's happened here on this entry is come through. Oh, there's just a little bit of contact there from WKMP car behind. I think that was Stone Street, and just enough to unsettle the rear. I don't think McKee was planning to enter the pit lane there. He might have been, but yeah, not what he would have hoped for.
No, not at all. That is definitely not what you would hope for in that situation. Probably just, again, as you said, this is a very dangerous pit entry here. You have to slow up in that situation to stay within the lines. You don't get a pit penalty, and yeah, he's just meant that the cars behind have sort of not checked up quick enough, gone in the back of him, and that's super frustrating. But again, that's the nature of the pit entry here at this circuit. It's super awkward, and it's very much a balancing act with those around you. So super disappointing, but again, that's hopefully he can continue to try and push back through this field and get a decent result in this final race. I think he's a bit down the order now. He's in the 38th place, so down quite a number of spots, but there's still over 10 laps left to go in this race, so a big opportunity for him to try and continue to move forward. If he can, a couple of drivers need to make a compulsory stop as well, so there could be the opportunity for him to gain something there. This is Luke Ullman
and Stone Street picking up the black flag. I guarantee that's the contact with McKee. Unfortunately, we're not getting the updates from race control here tonight, sorry folks, but I don't need to be told that that's what that is for, to know that that's exactly why McKee is about to serve his drive-through.
Yeah, that's his Stone Street, sorry, about to serve his drive-through. So yeah, that's super disappointing for Stone Street. But again, that is the nature of the game. You do something like that. He's definitely earned it. He will be disappointed, but you couple whack from the stewards when you do the wrong thing. So he will have to serve that drive-through as much as he doesn't want to. It's going to put him right down the order, and that is just the way that it goes, the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Wayne Walker up the inside of Darren Walden gets another spot, and now Darren Walden and Rose are going to go at it. Craig Rose trying to find his way past in the Quantum Racing car. So Quantum versus Angry Birds on the way through. Contact going to switch back across.
Big contact.
He's had multiple cars with him. That is huge contact. There's multiple cars still coming through. They'll have to stay wide to try and navigate. He's going to try and flick spin it.
That's a really awkward spot. He's got himself out of the way, but really unfortunate.
Who has he made contact with there?
Jim Caparonis. got caught up in that.
Oh.
Look at the damage he's now carrying. He's going to have to limp
That's
that
huge
around the
damage.
entire lap. That front right absolutely destroyed.
And there's one other car as well, I believe he got caught up with. There was two other cars involved in that incident. Jim Capronis took the brunt of it, and that is super disappointing for him. Not happy at all. He's going to stop there. I think he's going to have to tow back to pits. Yeah, that's...
The question is, are we going to get a safety car as a result?
Ooh. Well, if we get a safety car, is there anyone left to serve their compulsory stop? Because if they haven't, now is the time to do it before that safety car gets called.
Yeah, I think Capronis is going to be just far enough out of the way that he might not have to.
Might get covered with a local yellow.
Yeah, I don't know. He's on the outside the accident corner. It's not a great spot. I'm watching
That is a dangerous
carefully
spot.
race control at the moment just to see if they are going to be heading on out. But I don't know.
Yeah,
what
looks like we are.
Here.
Looks like potentially we are. By the way that these guys are, the body language is changing these cars, which tells me that a safety car could have been called. And there we go. So safety car.
The Chubby Buns safety car is on track. So we're going to wait for these guys to get back around and pick up that safety car, and then we'll get Capronis moved on his way. He's in a very, very dangerous spot indeed. So not surprised. I'm just having a look to see if we can find who else it was that got caught up in that. Because it all started with Darren Walden, and I don't know. Just having a look. Was it Blake Warboys, I think.
It potentially may have been, yes, you might be right.
car that was caught up in it.
And then
let's go back and take a quick look at that. But this is Warboys we're focusing on now. Yeah, it'll absolutely be this WKP car. Walden just loses it on the outside, comes across, smacks Warboys into the fence there. He didn't get the worst of it, but Capronis, you can see
absolutely did. Torn the front left corner out of that. That is a sorry sight, that car of Jim Capronis, and no wonder the safety car is now out there. I'll tell you who this is really good for and who will be cheering at the idea of a safety car is Wayne Walker. He's got so much pace on track. I mean, he's the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 10.7. That is a second quicker than Ken Ladder's best lap of the race. So he is pushing at the moment. He does not need to fuel save at all. So he is absolutely cheering at the fact that now the safety car in the field's bunched up. But I think Ken Ladder can also breathe a little bit of sigh of relief, because this is a prime opportunity for him to save a bit of fuel.
Well, that'll be the case for pretty much everyone at the top end of this field. When I look at the list we've got here, Ken Ladder, Jason Bentz, Ryan Palmer. I'm just scanning the list of drivers that did make that compulsory stop the first time around. I don't think Bentz did, so I think Bentz might actually need to make another stop yet. I could be wrong, but I don't see him on my list. Ken Ladder,
he technically did.
Technically.
Because his engine blew up.
That's true. That's a fair point. Ladder, Palmer, Dyke, Matt Vanderkraan has made his two stops. Luke Allman, I'm just looking for in my list as well. I think he might need to come in yet. Brian Borg's definitely made his two stops as well. So the front end of this field are all in a really, really strong position here, and they will be quite happy for this safety car period to go on for another 2 or 3 laps if they can actually, wing that. I don't think we're going to see that long under the safety car, but these guys will be absolutely praying for an extended safety car period to give them as much fuel savings as they possibly can. As Josh Harris says in the chat, they're hoping to save enough fuel under the safety car period to go flat stick home and try and hold off the likes of Wayne Walker, back in 22nd at the moment, but he's made a stop, so he doesn't have to worry about fuel here. The front end of the field, though, the front 20 are all going to have to be thinking about fuel saving if they're not coming in for another stop. So really, about anyone in our timing tower right now is appreciating the fuel saving at the moment. It does look like we're going to get another lap under safety car here, because this is the safety car pull away zone. I don't think we're going to see the safety car in this lap. They could change their mind late, but if they can extend this by another lap, these guys will be pretty happy with it. No, the safety car now looks as though it's pulling away. So this will be Ken Ladder and Jason Bentz to bring us back to a race pace as we come around to the start-finish line. A little bit of way to go yet, so they'll be doing everything they can to maintain the required pace here and save fuel all the way to the line. And I reckon watch for Ken Latta to go very, very late here.
Yes, and I can just quickly confirm before we get this restart underway, Luke Allman did stop in race 1, so he's all good. Does not need to stop again, so that is he's A-OK and clear to push on for the end of this race, depending on fuel. So that's the question mark we have, isn't it, Jared Cole? As we get ready for the restart, what is everyone in this top 20 like for fuel? Wayne Walker, he's got no fuel concerns. He's going to push to the end of this race. What can the front of the field do? How far can Wayne Walker move forward?
He launches. I'm hoping to catch people by surprise maybe. Here they come out of the final turn. We are going full noise and down towards the start-finish line as we go green flag racing for 6 more laps here at Watkins Glen. And the field flows on through, everyone going at full pace from here on in, and Ken Latta will be looking for whatever opportunity he can possibly grab out in front with that clean air. Have they saved enough fuel? There's the real question.
That is the question we are asking. Have they saved enough fuel? And look, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We don't have live fuel numbers. I wouldn't think so. You've got 16 laps of fuel in the car. Unless you've done some mighty fuel-saving effort between the start of the race and the safety car period, I don't think you're going to really save that much fuel. So what will give me the indication is the lap time. So I'm going to keep a close eye on these first sort of initial laps here between someone like Ken Latta and someone like Wayne Walker, who doesn't need to worry about fuel saving, just to get an idea. So that's running wide there for Ashley Hall. So he's opened he's steering up and got caught on the high line and letting quite a number of cars through in that situation. Wayne Walker, he's trying to find a way past Mick Power and Troy Stone Street up the inside now of Mick Power. Trying to make that stick. He's going to be caught on the outside, but he is ahead and he should hold on to that position now. Can set off to Troy Stone Street, who just got a little bit of a free kick there, a little bit of breathing room as a result of Wayne Walker being held up on the outside there with Mick Power. And look at the lap times as they start to come in.
Ashley Hall goes the very, very, very wide line on the way out.
That is the very lot. That is pushing the track limits, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be quite what the stewards would say is the best line to be taking. A little bit further up, there's side by side. Have a look at this. We're 3 wide almost as we get to the chicane. There's contact there, and that's Jason Dunn gets the contact. He's going to have to try and recover from there. Behind him, that rejoin though. That's caused a massive collision. Dunn comes off worse, but it is going to cause some issues there for I think was that who was it got caught up in that? It looks like it might have been Todd Martin who's missing the front bar. There it is. So
yes.
Yeah, look, it's just sloppy that rejoin. I think
the stewards may see that as an unsafe re-entry, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that, because that was very sloppy, very dangerous, and he'll be frustrated with that. But again, also in that situation, get caught on the grass. The grass on these tyres is a bit like ice. There's nothing you can do. It's hard to pull the car up. So he was sort of a passenger in that sense, but I think the stewards still may see it as an unsafe re-entry. We'll keep a close eye on it. Matt Vanderkraan, Jamie Dyke battling away for this 4th spot. The Ryan Palmer and Jason Benz have sort of tried to stay with Ken Latta, disappear up the road. So it's left these guys battling for the back end of the top 5. You've got Dyke, Vanderkraan, Ullman and Borg all within close proximity of each other, trying to pull away from Rick Vigar, who's leading that trophy class, doing a wonderful job inside the top 10. It's been so good to see these trophy guys up the pointy end. It just goes to show the variance in strategy and how that can benefit you. Rick Vigar led a good chunk of the last race as well. We got up the inside for Brian Borg on Luke Allman, got that move done. That's a lovely overtake from and another one. Who's that pulled up there on the inside, getting out of the way?
I think that might have been was it Jason Dunn or Andrew Rushworth, Dan Fisher, one of the.
It's an awkward spot.
Yeah, it's again, we've had 2 tracks with really, really awkward pit entries. We started off at the bend. We're here at Watkins Glen. Is that going to be the theme for this season? I'm going to have to take a look at the tracks that are in the list ahead, because if that's an intentional choice by the admins, I honestly applaud it. It adds a whole other level of strategy that's required here. Jamie Dyke driving very, very defensively while he tries to stay with Matt Vanderkraan. He doesn't want to end up 3 wide into the chicane, but Brian Borg has other ideas. He's pushing really hard here. Vanderkraan will be thankful for a little bit of a reduction in pressure from Dyke. Borg is trying everything he can to get alongside, but Jamie Dyke defending well. Out in front, though, Jason Bentz, Ken Latta, and Ryan Palmer. This trio, watch their pace as the indicator of just how much fuel might be left in the tank, because they've opened up a 3-second gap to Van der Graan already.
Oh, look, they're doing similar lap times to that of Wayne Walker, and we know Wayne Walker doesn't have to save fuel. So I think the fuel saving might be out of the window. Whether they need to or not, it's definitely out of the window now, because they are battling away. Wayne Walker up into 15th spot ahead of Mark Poynton, so he's just got that move done into the top 15. So he's pushing really hard, is Wayne Walker, to try and get as many points as he can in the final race of the evening. Vince Salvatore going side by side with Simon Haynes. And Simon Haynes looks like he's going to get that one done on the run down towards turn 1. He has the inside line, and Vince Salvatore will try and hang around the outside. But even though you can take that really wide line there that we see a lot of drivers doing and pushing those track limits, sometimes just sort of trying to stay on the circuit on through turn 1 there is actually proving to be the better line to take.
Yeah, and a lot of that I think comes down to just how much that outside curbing really unsettles the car. Bouncing over and across that when you've already got those outside tyres fully loaded, it really does impact on you getting that power down. We've only got a couple laps left here in this final race. It's gone by in the blink of an eye, and really there's a lot to keep an eye on. Bentz, Latta and Palmer out in front. That front trio, Brian Borg doing everything he can. We've got a couple of cars stopped there.
Oh,
that was one of the Fisher Motorsports. That's Jamie McKnight. Just caught at the pit entry. That's really dangerous. Are we going to see a finish under safety car here? Surely not.
Jamie Knight and Ash Hall. So those are the two drivers that were stopped there, and we are under safety car. So there you go. Safety car is called. Question is, well, actually no, it won't. So we will not get a safety car restart now. So that is it. I think this is the first time I've seen a race finish under safety car, and Jason Bentz crucially got himself past Ken Latta to lead this race. So Jason Bentz has been handed the ultimate gift after blowing up his engine in race 1 earlier tonight on the downshift into turn 1. He's come all the way back to essentially be in the box seat to win this final race.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. I'm just keeping a very close eye on Tim Nicol sitting in the safety car at the moment, because they're about to start the final lap. And then they'll pick up the safety car on the way around. So this is going to be an interesting finish, and one that, I don't know, will it be debated in the Discord group afterwards? I don't know what to expect, honestly, because this is one of the most unique finishes that I can recall. Is a safety car being called one lap out. We haven't seen this happen before. I mean, it's just the nature of it, right? You have an incident like that, you've got very little choice but to bring the safety car out on track, and Jason Bentz will be just about to pick the safety car up. Tim Nicol is sitting just a few corners. No, Tim Nicol is back in the pits. I apologise. It looks as though they've decided to withdraw that safety car, which unfortunately, sorry folks, we haven't had the information flowing through us. So these guys have continued under race conditions. The real battle left here, I think, is Jamie Dyke and Brian Borg on this final lap.
Still going.
Still going at it. Jamie Dyke's put in a hell of a shift here to hold Brian Borg at bay. It's been a lot of work, but with only a couple of corners left to go, can he actually maintain this all the way home? It's going to be a tight finish, that's for sure. Just a couple of corners left here. We'll stay with it as long as we can. We want to catch Bentz across the line, but we also want to see what Brian Borg throws at us in these last couple of corners. I think Jamie Dyke's going to have the position. Borg's going to have one more. There's contact. Borg's gone hard into Jamie Dyke. Jason Bentz crosses the line. Latta, Palmer, Van der Graan, and wow, what a finish! Wow. That's
huge moment.
Jamie Dyke is going to come home all the way down in 12th. Borg,
he won't be happy.
Looks like he might have crossed the line with a black flag. Now, whether that's incident points from iRacing or an
immediate. That's a very quick steward decision.
I mean, stewards will be watching that like a hawk, right? So no massive surprises there. But we see the rest of the field just starting to flow on through here. We'll get a lot of these guys finishing pretty close together. As we jump a little bit further down through the tower.
Who's on out of field now? Is that Stephen Ryder again?
Salvatore. Ben Salvatore has has run it just short again, so he's going to be inching it home if he can. Here comes Todd Martin. He'll pick up an extra spot. Craig Rose carrying a black flag. He's going to have to make a decision about whether he comes in to serve that or just takes the post-race penalty. Oh, look at this. This is what I love to see.
No.
Jason Dunn, you absolute madman. That was brutal. Not even contesting position because of the lap times. So just waved on past, and there's Vince Salvatore crossing the line in at 34th position. Wow, that was not what I expected at all from Jason
We
Dunn.
thought it was going to be this nice, light-hearted moment, and all of a sudden he goes, I'm just gonna buzz the tower.
Definitely something.
Yeah, well, I will say, right decision by race control to withdraw that safety car at the end, just to allow those guys to race. I think
honestly,
Jamie Dyke might feel a little bit hard done by in that situation. The safety car could have stayed out, but I think they made the right decision withdrawing that safety car.
Look, I'm gonna probably disagree with you there. I think they needed to follow through with it at that point. I think, you know, once you call it at that late stage of the race, you can't afford to upset the momentum or to have anyone, you know, caught with a decision they wouldn't have otherwise made. I reckon they should have just stuck with it and finished it on the safety car. But you know, them's the brakes in the end. I think Jamie Dyke's bigger concern will probably be that late contact from Brian Borg that saw him all the way back down to 11th. What do you do ultimately?
That's right.
It does look like, though, that Borg was issued very, very quickly with that penalty, because he's dropped way down the list. Let's review the results in just a second. I do want to bring a few drivers in to have a bit of a chat to us about how that one has finished up, and we'll start with third place in that final round, and we welcome to the booth for the first time this season. It is ADHD's Ryan Palmer.
Yes, hello, gentle boys, Lens, Brad, whatever it is.
So take that, you know,
Boys.
mate. That last race there was a lot.
Yeah, that was alright. It was, you know, good for me. But yeah, I think the night was a lot. Don't mind me, I'm just getting my wheel off because it spun on me and disconnected. But yeah, no, it was good. Race one was a bit of a non-event for me. I blew an engine on the final lap and then ended up getting punted on the second last corner. So that was a DNF. And then, race two, you know, had a really good start. Followed someone down the inside and, yeah, got, I think, 20 positions. And then, race three was fuel saver, essentially.
And how much did that early safety car really just give you a bit of an opportunity to relax your fuel saving? We were debating just how much fuel was going to be saved there, and it looked like you had just enough in the tank to really push on home after that earlier safety car.
Yeah, so I was saving basically from the get-go. So I'm obviously not really a good fuel saver. I'm definitely more of a fuel chugger. So I saw Wayne doing it in practice. I was like, geez, that probably should be good considering 50 litres won't make 18 laps. It makes like 16 if you're lucky. So that's about 6.1 litres we had to save. So yeah, I was saving basically all the first stint. And then comes under the safety car, I was just bang clutching and just roll the whole time. And I think I used like 2.2 litres, if that, under the whole safety car period. So got a message from Josh saying, are you going to make it home? And I was like, I believe so. But yeah, so kind of rough early calculations. I was like, you know, I'm just going to push from here. What's the worst that can happen? I'm just going to fall back. And then Jamie started falling back, so I wasn't sure if he didn't save enough or what happened there. But yeah, I saw him dropping back and I was like, okay, I've got myself a little bit of a buffer here if I need to save, you know, 0.6 of a litre and stuff like that. So that was good. Bit of a error on race controller's behalf there with, I think, 2 to go. They called a safety car and then they're like, oh, never mind, don't worry about it. So yeah, it is what it is. It's part of racing. I think I probably had pace to, you know, get P2, I reckon, maybe P1, but yeah, tyres were a little bit on their way out, but no, it was good. Finally here, talking ears.
Mate, an awesome result and a great start to the season to get an early set of good results. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to, mate?
Just shout out to everyone at home watching. Josh is watching, and then we've got Beck, Haley, his Josh's partner. I've got Freddie at work. I told him about this, and I told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, bro, that's mad!" You know, showed him a video from last night with MC, me escapading, flying. So,
bit of air at mid-Ohio.
Oh man, that was insane. But nah, yeah, it was good. Good round, and yeah, thanks to you boys as well. But yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully I don't have to pull out because I am doing Pro Series pre-quali tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes.
Mate, fingers crossed. Best of luck and congratulations on the results tonight.
Cheers, boys. Thank you to everyone at home.
Ryan Palmer comes home in third place in race 3. We go now to P2 and we welcome back to the booth Ken Ladder. Ken, what a night tonight. The sprint races at Watkins Glen providing pretty much what we expected. How did it live up to your expectations?
Oh yeah, it's pretty wild. Always is here. And being a sprint round and 40 odd plus cars, you know, it's always going to be. So.
And mate, you know, the cup layout, it's not exactly the same, is it? It's very, very different to the full layout here at Watkins Glen. The boot layout might have, I don't know, allowed for a little bit more spacing out of the field, but absolutely nothing throughout that race from our perspective. Did it feel as congested on track as it looked from up here in the booth?
Yeah, well, it did because so I think I started up in the top 5 or 6 or something like that, maybe 7, and then things just weren't going well in front of me in that first race. Bugger this, I'll pit and get one of them out of the road, and then safety car came, and it was a little while coming up through, but you know, you get guys that sort of pit halfway through the race, sort of trying to race them on old tyres, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Like you just don't feel like you can't find it to make them.
And that was the other challenge as well, right? Not just the tyres, but also the fuel load tonight. We just spoke to Ryan, of course, about the fuel saving effort he was put in. How did you find it in managing your fuel load in that final race, knowing that you didn't want to have to come in for that splash and dash?
Well, I started right from the start. I felt that I was on target. I was saving like wherever I could, try and make up that 5.5 litres we had to make up. And that's a fair amount for 18 laps around a track. So, you know, like it was manageable, and the couple of guys that were around us were clearly doing the same thing, so we're all around about the same speed, trying to achieve the same number. So, yes, it's definitely doable, but big save.
It looked like hard work from our perspective, mate, but in the end, I think the safety car just giving you that little bit of headroom in your fuel numbers, and managed to hold on for a pretty tidy little set of results tonight. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't want the last one, and then I was just a couple of laps before that. I made a silly error on turn 1. I didn't change back to 3rd, 4th. I was heading towards the wall. I'm like going, oh yeah, that's great.
Getting closer, getting closer.
Followed it up, but obviously yielded the spot. And then when I knew the safety car came, I knew the chance that I had gone, like to actually get him. And then it obviously didn't come, and I wasn't close enough to. Ah, damn it! But anyway.
Mate, look, it's the way it falls sometimes, unfortunately. A great drive from you tonight, though. Before we do let you go, anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Oh, well done to Ben. It's like he had a bit of a good first race back here tonight, so you got a hand there. And Palmer being up the pointy on him.
Yeah,
all the guys at Fish. Yeah.
Not the usual spot for an ADHD car, but he's done well.
No, he really did. And yeah, all you guys, good on Tim tonight. It can't be a whole lot by himself. You got to shout out to and my sponsors, West Automotive Group, Design, DC Shades, Warehouse, Ellie Beach, Harlan Sports.
And always a pleasure to chat to you. Congrats on the results. We'll be taking a look at the championship standings in just a second, but a really nice start to your Season 7 campaign. Well done.
Yeah, guys.
Ken Ladder comes home in second place in the final race, and we are joined now by race 3 winner, Jason Bentz from Quantum Racing. Mate, welcome back to the booth.
Cheers, boys.
Well, an eventful set of racing tonight, not just in the final round, but across all 3. A massively congested track with, I think by our count, 47 cars signing on tonight. it looked like chaos from our perspective, I'll be honest. I mean, you started that final race in 14th, which usually you'd kind of go, okay, mid-pack, but that's still well up into the front half of the pack. It looked like a bit of a rough one, though.
Yeah, there was a bit going on at the start of the race. I think I managed to miss it all, same as race 2. But yeah, it was good fun.
And the fuel saving wasn't too bad in race 3 there. I know that without the pit stop to worry too much about, it was all on the fuel save efforts. And both Ken and Ryan have said that they found it, looking like a pretty daunting task to save about 5.5-6 litres here at this track. How about you? How did that play into your calculations?
The way I was going, I needed to still save another half a lap worth of fuel, but I just started clutching further and further. So I could have done it, but I think the cars coming from behind that had pitted could have quite possibly gotten pretty close with the lap times we were doing anyway.
Yeah, well, it's certainly something we were watching pretty closely up here in the booth. In the end, that mid-race safety car really giving you the bit of headroom you wanted, I imagine.
Yep. As soon as the safety car come out, I'm like, all right, now I can start to push from here.
Massive sigh of relief. A really, really interesting and challenging setup in terms of what was handed to everyone tonight with the fixed setup. It really did make you think about the fuel load. A massively congested track. 18 laps of pure chaos around a very, very fast Watkins Glen. To come out on top in the final race and to have some good results all night, mate. Very well done to you. Anyone you want to say hello to before we call it a night here?
Just shout out to all the Quantum Racing XCM boys and shout out to the missus.
Jason, always a pleasure to chat. Congratulations on the results tonight, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Isaac, we'll take a look at the final results now, but I think really had it not been for that safety car, that would have been a really, really challenging finish to that race for really everyone in the top 10 who were trying to make it home with fuel save. The mid-race safety car, almost something they were relying on.
Yeah, I think that mid-race safety car really was a free kick for those guys to help them get home with the fuel saving. Seems that I'm very much on my own when it comes to thinking that withdrawing that late race safety car was the right call. So very much prepared to eat my words in that situation and say that maybe it possibly should have been either they should have called it and stuck with it, or they just shouldn't have called it to begin with if they were going to withdraw it. But it is tough. Though, right? Absolutely, I do not envy them. I've been race control for leagues before and for racing, and I definitely find that it's a very stressful situation. So I do not envy them. It's a very difficult call to make, and they want to make the one that's going to, provide the best opportunity for everyone to maximise the result that they can. And I think it's a difficult call, and there'll be very much split opinions on it, and everyone's going to have an opinion, like they always do. And we've seen some controversial things happen in motorsport before, and I think everyone will have their say. They'll have a little bit of a vent about it. There'll be some had to race control, I'm sure, and we'll move on and we'll turn around and go again next week.
Oh, it'll be absolutely forgotten by the time we get to Catalunya for round 3. The finishing positions for race 3, as it were, Bentz, Ladder and Palmer, our top 3, then Vanderkine and Allman, with Rick Vigar, Andrew Hoffman and Andrew Listener all picking up some great Cup Trophy points there, as well as Troy Sippel in P10 with Craig Schultz just ahead of him. Jamie Dyke ending up finishing in 11th after that very, very late punt. Trav Daly and Troy Stone Street behind him, then Wayne Walker, Mark Poynton, Jason Douglas and Simon Haynes, Brad Grant, Nicholas Garriosh and Stephen Varga rounding out your top 20 to move back through the field. Clifton and Powers, Blake Warboys drops to 23rd, courtesy of, I believe, the black flag that he would have crossed the line with there, so that's punched him down a fair way into the group. McKee, Wood and Toth behind him, then Brad Hayes, Nathan Burban, Scott Perrins and David Liddell rounding out your 30, with Glenn Boyce and Brian Borg just behind them. Todd Martin and Vince Salvatore the last to finish on the lead lap. Vince Salvatore getting a bit of a wave on the way past at the finish there, which I'm absolutely going to enjoy clipping later, I'm sure. Let's take a bit of a look though at how the points might stand after that race. Hopefully our points calculation has come through, and this is what we're looking at the moment. Wayne Walker looks as though he will be out in front at the start of this one with 519 points. Is keeping him where he is. Mark Poynton and Matt Vanderkram moving up a couple of spots, Jason Bentz and Blake Warboys dropping a little. Of course, there's all sorts of drop rounds coming in. It's very, very early days, but you can see a fair bit of movement. Ken Latta will pick up a whole host of points from tonight's results as well, so he'll be happy to be back up towards the top 20. A long way to go in this championship before these points really start to count for a lot, but it gives you a nice indication of just how much tonight has changed the game for particularly some Cup Trophy drivers. Listener, Gary Osh, McKee and Mitch Wood all featuring in the top 20 now. It's a good place to be in a very, very large field.
Yeah, this is absolutely some really good points for these guys to grab to sort of secure a really strong start to their trophy campaign. So this has been a great evening for a lot of those drivers, and it's really nice to see them getting up there towards the pointy end of the field, and a couple of drivers, including Rick Varga, leading at one stage in that second race as a trophy driver. So that would have been a lot of fun for him, I'm sure. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this championship continues to develop as we get further into this season. I don't think how we look now is how we're going to look. It's not going to look anything like this when we get to the final round in 7 or 8 weeks' time. So this is take a good look now, because it's not going to look like this soon enough.
Yeah, it'll all change very, very quickly, I'm sure. But plenty of racing left to come. If you're looking for more racing this week, do make sure you join us again tomorrow night here on Simple Racing Broadcast as we cover the MC Motorsport Easy Motorcycle Spares GT3 Championship. For tonight, though, we wrap up this round of the Alliance Sim Racing Solar Guard Supercar Championship. A massive thank you to our primary sponsors, Solar Guard, Saint Gobain and Chubby Buns. And of course, all of the other supporting sponsors as well, AA West Automotive, Quantum Tint Solutions, Nicol Photography, and 24/7 Race Control, 24/7 Sim Services for their race control here tonight. It's always a tough gig, and I don't envy them at all. I think a lot of drivers will be feeling the pinch after a very, very difficult night of racing here, and looking forward to Catalonia next week. Wherever you do decide to join us, it's been great to have you along. We look forward to seeing you back here again with us for some more amazing racing, no matter what the discipline is. My name's Jared Cole. I've been in the booth here tonight with Isaac Fogarty. Until we see you again, do take care. It's goodbye for now.